So today's video is a very, very important video, so I want you to pay particularly close attention to the series of pictures that I show you. This picture, it's from 2014. If you look really closely at it, do you notice anything that I don't know really stands out, catches your eye? So this image, this is a much newer image. This one is from 2019. If you look around the arms, if you take time, pause here and zoom in, again, looking at that picture, what exactly do you see? Now this is a much older image. We're going to have to jump in our way, way back machine, rewind all the way to 2009. Again, if you look at this image, what exactly do you notice in it? Now this is a newer image. Again, there is a method to all of this, by the way. That's why we're jumping around. But this is from 2019. If you really, really take a close look, do you notice anything that sticks out? I mean, focus here. Same area. What exactly do you see? Now, the reason I'm bringing all of this up is Australia 2016. I'm sure you probably remember this picture here. Now, if you don't know anything about Australia 2016, I'm going to give you an in-depth version of it in just a moment. But for the Cliff Note version, here it goes. 3-day ordeal. That's right, 3-day ordeal. A certain nameless person has a lot of things pointed their way, and you saw that picture. Well, that's supposed to be the proof of it. There's also supposed to be proof on the bottom of feet, although there was never a picture and there's not any marks anymore, even though the 3 days that would have left that kind of stuff. I'll tell you again what supposedly happened in that. And, well, somebody in their deposition, they said, hey, you know what? That person, they did that to themselves. Now, this was brought up in UK 2020. That certain nameless person, they fervently denied that. The judge said, hey, I believe it, but it leaves you pondering a question. Where's all this other stuff coming from? We have pictures that are outside relationships. We have pictures, well, when that nameless person, they would have been around other people. So what exactly is going on? What is going on, indeed? So hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day. And if you would, before we get started, make sure to share this video far and wide because everyone needs to see it. Make sure, too, to feed that pesky algorithm. It loves likes and comments. If you're subbed to the channel, make sure you're still subbed to the channel. If you're not subbed to the channel, well, consider it. And let me stress this, too. Anything we talk about, that is for reporting content only. Never, ever get in contact with folks. There's nothing positive with it. Again, we're just reporting on a case and talking about things that may or may not be. So as far as that certain nameless person goes, I'm sure you have heard everything under the sun by now, and supposedly all of it links back to one person, JD. Isn't it interesting, though, when you start going through pictures, there's a lot of things that you can't describe. This, for example, like I say, this is from Art of Elysium. There was another picture with it. If you look at that, you can see something very prominently in this. It falls well outside of the time frame that we were told things happen in. So how exactly are all of these things happening? Now, normally, I wouldn't bring things like this up at all. I mean, after all, this would be something that someone would need help for if they were doing this to themselves. And if somebody else was doing this to them, well, they needed to go out and they need to get intervention. And when I say that, that should be the proper authorities. It shouldn't be a social media intervention. That being said, this nameless person, they said that they're not doing this to themselves. And, well, we know who they blamed all of this on, which is crazy considering the dates all of this stuff is attributed to. It's either outside of that relationship, they didn't have anything in that. It's either before or after, or these are times when we know that he wasn't around. Now, I'm going to tell you about Australia 2016. You should pull up that picture if you don't know it that I showcased before. And this picture in the background here, this is one of those times when JD wasn't available. But when this popped up, well, according to someone named Trinity Esparza, if you don't know about them, I'll cover them another time. But they attribute this to a certain other person. They said that a rocket naked man was around. Juicy, huh? Now, as far as Australia 2018 is concerned, this is what a certain nameless person says happened. They say, quote, "That night, JD shoved me into a ping pong table, collapsed underneath me, threw bottles through window panels of a glass door, breaking 2 panes, leaving glass everywhere. Then he grabs me, gripping my body in nightgown, tears the gown off, and at some point, I'm naked and barefoot, covered in alcohol and glass." Now, this stuff, it moves forward in its narrative to the kitchen. Basically, they're sliding back and forth across a glass-strewn floor and countertop. You have people being thrown away. You have people being dragged through this. And in one of the most horrifying, scariest moments of the 3-day ordeal, JD supposedly grabs this person by their neck and collarbone, slams them into a countertop, basically starts to drag them through this. And, well, everything. It's getting desperate. Now, you can imagine what that would do to a person. You saw the quote-unquote evidence there. And again, questions come up because somebody, when they arrived at this scene the next day, they not only didn't see all of that stuff, but they said that nameless person, they did that stuff to themselves. Now, as far as the trial goes, this comes up too. Here's question. Question. Throughout your dealings with Dr. Cowan, that would be JD's personal assistant, did you ever have a problem with self-harm? Answer. Never. It was put to you on behalf of JD that the scars that were seen, we see the redness of scars on your outer forearm in the photograph, those were the result of self-harm. Did you do that to yourself? Basically, I redacted a couple of words. Answer. I've never self-harmed. I've never done that kind of stuff to myself. The feet were asked about too. Did you do that to yourself? No. Never did that to myself either. So the justice in UK 2020, Justice Nicol, he had the following to say about that. I accept that nameless person, they did cut their arms, but I do not accept that they were self-inflicted, as Mr. Judge speculated in the recording. Mr. Judge, by the way, was JD's bodyguard, and well, that recording, that was one that they didn't know about. That speculation, yeah, you weren't trying to shield anyone there. That was just made, and again, it was made without anyone but that nameless person's accidental awareness. His non-expert view was that the self-inflicted carries little, if any, weight. In any event, that nameless person had no history of doing that. A much more likely explanation, and one I find to be the case, is that they were accidentally done by an abundance of broken glass in the house. That nameless person said that their feet were also cut, as they told Miss Pennington, supposedly their best friend, years after the fact. Oh, yeah, that was told to me too. We didn't photograph that, by the way. Now, there are other pictures out there too, dozens of them. I'll go over them in a live stream one day, but all of that makes you wonder something. It makes you wonder, how exactly did all of this stuff happen? I mean, these are things that are before the relationship. These are things that are after the relationship. You also have them when JD's not around, but nobody asks those questions because, again, there's no history of any of that stuff. I'm not saying where they came from either. I'm leaving that up to you. Maybe you can tell me. But anyway, let me know what you think about this video. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff possible. Without you, none of it works. Also, you want to help out the channel? There are links in the description. Definitely check that out. We could definitely use your help with stuff like this. But yeah, you being here, that matters too. So thank you. I appreciate you, and we will see you soon.